Okay, here we are at the Gibson Guitar Studios, and it gives me great pleasure. I'm here with Joe Elliott and Rick Savage of the highly successful rock band Def Leppard. And September the 19th, there's a screening coming out, VIVA Hysteria, which is like a documentation of your nights in Las Vegas. We did like 10-night residency, and this
11
is
nights.
11 nights.
Yeah, 11, yeah.
And this is like 2 nights you did like an intimate show at the joint. So
Well, they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. This is completely the opposite.
Yeah.
We want everybody to see what we did in Vegas.
It's gone into 2,000 cinemas worldwide, so we've actually broke the rule, the unbreakable rule.
And where did the idea to play the whole entire Hysteria album come from? Was it from the promoter, or was it your idea?
It was part of the deal. You know, the guys at the Hard Rock Hotel who have been bringing in rock bands to do residencies over the last few years, you know, namely like Crew, Motley Crue, GNR, and separate to the Hard Rock, you've had people like Cheap Trick coming through. It's becoming a very rock and roll town, really. They invited us to do a residency there, but would we play, you know, would we entertain playing the entire Hysteria album? To which, of course, we said, well, yeah, we would now. Having refused to do it many times before when we've been maybe promoting a new album, this was a great opportunity to do it because we weren't going to be having any new material out in that, the 6 months up to leading up to it.
And playing the residency, obviously normally you're on tour, it's like different tour bus, hotel every night. So was it a nice welcome to be playing the residency? You could relax.
Yeah, that was one of the real attractions. Just when it was kind of thrown at us, it was like, are you kidding? One, we're in Vegas, which is a city that I love. You're getting the best parts of being on tour, which is obviously playing in front of your fans, and all the bad bits, like the travelling and trying to sleep on a moving bus, they're all eliminated. So it was like, hang on a second, it didn't get really much better than this. So for me, it was a no-brainer. You know, it was like, absolutely, what a great. And again, because it was something we had never done before, you know, we always feel good about just changing it up and wanting to do something slightly different, and this just fit the bill perfectly.
And like when you played the Hysteria album, like we were rehearsing for it, did it bring back many memories?
Well, we've been playing about 7 or 8 of them songs for every gig we've done since.
Yeah.
So
it was just the odd 3 or 4 that like we've kind of played at some point in the last 25 years, but weren't regular features within the set list. So there was it was more a question of concentrating on the Run Riots, Don't Shoot Shotgun, Love and Affection, those type of songs. And at the end of the day, it's like, you know what, it just sounds like all the other songs, you know, I mean, on a par, like everything on the Hysteria album was such a high quality sounding record for the late 80s, you know, I mean, even now it still sounds pretty cool to me.
And obviously there's some songs now, I think like Don't Shoot Shotgun and Excitable. I don't think you've ever performed those songs live before, have you?
Yeah, actually we have, but we've done it, we did it, we tried Excitable about 1999.
No, we also did it in the, we did a shed tour, it was a Journey tour, wasn't it?
No, it was on 96.
Yeah, we played it, I always remember it was third in the running order.
Oh, okay.
But it was a late start. It was
definitely,
either 99 or this century that we played it for the first time on stage. Shotgun, we never played live, I don't believe. We did Run Riot a couple of times. Back in 87, 88, but...
You actually played 86 at Donington before the album.
Yeah, we did.
That was Love and Affection.
And Love and Affection.
Yeah, those 2 songs got to run out before the album came out. But with them, they haven't been played since, and specifically with Vivian, never been played at all.
Of course, yeah.
So he had a bit more homework to do than us. For us, it's brushing up on stuff, and you know, when you're listening to those songs, I mean, we don't listen to Hysteria like people really think we do. You know, I haven't heard the album in 20 years. But you put the headphones on to do the research, and you're going, oh my God, I've been singing the words wrong for 20 years. Such and such a song, you know, or you're going, that's going to be a tricky bit live, you know, and so you're just doing a lot of mental preparation.
And then let's go back to the origins of the album Hysteria, because like you really were massive stateside with Pyromania, but in England it really took Rick Allen to lose his arm before you got the media coverage in England.
Yeah, we got front cover as soon as that happened. Yeah, go figure. You know. Yeah, you know, as we said, overnight success took 10 years. You know, it was literally almost 10 years to the month the Animal was a hit that we formed.
So, and obviously the album took about 3 or 4
we were a
years.
slow
wasn't it?
burner.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we were a slow burner. And obviously a lot of rock fans had heard of us. We'd done the City Hall circuit and survived and all that kind of stuff. But Pyromania took us over the edge in the States to a point. This album, Hysteria, went even further, you know.
And obviously originally it was Jim Steinman who was going to produce the album, and that didn't quite work out, and then you got Mutt Lang in. So it's like one of the most expensive albums, so upon
Yeah, we
release,
had to sell a lot of
I think we had to
copies
sell
to
about 3
break
million
even.
copies to break even, so...
Fortunately, we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, we'd have
we were
killed
just kind of
ourselves.
stupid, and we were just so locked into trying to make this record that was like never been made before, and you know, not many. I wouldn't give too many credits to our record company. But that was one thing I do say about them, is that they never questioned, they just kept plowing the money in, knowing that, you know, it's always the bands that pay the money back anyway, which is, you know, that's how it...
It's a little loan.
Yeah, exactly. But it did allow us to just concentrate on, we went down a lot of cul-de-sacs making that record, but we needed to do that in order to get on the right path and actually, you know, make the record that we wanted to make.
And the first single in America was Woman, or Women I should say, in England it was Animal. So why did you go out for 2 different separate releases?
That was on advice of record label and management, that they wanted to go with something a bit harder in the States, because in America there's 2 different formats of radio. You've got FM radio that does top 40 and AM radio that does top 40, and you've got FM radio that does hard rock. And the top 40 AM FM radio will play Ragdoll, Living on a Prayer, stuff like that, but the hard rock stations, where they play your Kashmirs and your Paranoids and all that kind of stuff, and they wanted to establish us in the hard rock area as much as in the pop thing. So we were 1 song out by a continent, you know. The second single in America was the first single here, and they went all the way along that, which kind of had an advantage in one respect and a disadvantage in another. In other words, for one territory we had a video already shot, and it had been sitting around for 8 or 9 weeks, and then we just send it over.
Well, lucky there wasn't YouTube then, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was
the 80s,
a different world.
different era.
And obviously, like I just mentioned, like you were massive already in the States, but when Animal went in top 10 in England, you know, did you party that night? Was it a big celebration?
It was brilliant, I've got to be honest, because no matter what you say, don't get me wrong, it was great to sell that amount of records on Pyromania in America, that was fine. But to be big in your own country, that's kind of what, that means more to you than the record sales.
Obviously, that's when your parents can see, that's when your parents can post next door neighbour then.
It's like, people read about you selling records somewhere else in the world, but when it happens in their backyard, it's like, you can believe it more, you know, and that's basically what it was. So that was probably the best feeling from the charting point of view. To have that top 10 in England was like, you know, bigger than a number 1 in America.
Yeah, and consider as well that we actually got to do Top of the Pops, and it actually got broadcast this time, because we had done Top of the Pops in 1980 with Hello America, but because of the launch of the first ever space shuttle, or whatever it was, they had a 20-minute Top of the Pops, and guess who got cut out? So we finally got to be on Top of the Pops, which is a programme that we all grew up watching.
Hello England.
You know, it was like, you know, having seen your Queens and your Sweets and Slade and Bowie and Boland, all that on Top of the Pops, like, you know, we've never done it, you know. We finally got on Top of the Pops. It was like, you've come home to roost now after 10 years, you know.
And let's talk about Steve Clark briefly, because obviously you sadly lost him, and one of the main songwriters of Def Leppard, and what do you really like playing this Hysteria album? Does it bring back memories of Steve for you?
Well, when we were playing Gods of War, we specifically make the beginning of Gods of War like at the Steve tribute, because that whole beginning riff was his, and that was the kind of song that Steve was really good at writing, was the kind of just mad guitar riffs, you know, as with me and Sam, it'd be much more of a chordal thing maybe. And having the blend is what made it work, but his contribution to that record would have been things like Gods of War as his main contribution, and we made a point of making the intro for that song a little longer, throwing some footage of him up there so the crowd could really, you know...
Yeah, I've seen the film, it's a nice touch.
Yeah, you know, kind of pay their respect, if you like, and gives us a chance to go back and change his shirts.
Is there any memory of Steve, like when you have a quiet moment to yourself? Is there something about Steve that puts a smile on your face? Any nice memories of him?
Listen every day. You don't need to be listening to one of our songs. You know, it can happen for any reason and no reason at all. You know, something will just come into your head. And generally speaking, it was terribly sad even now what happened. But there's so much good feeling that outweighs the bad feeling with regards to Steve. That, you know, every time I think about him, it brings a smile on my face. You know, I see him as a one-off, just a one-off character.
Yeah. And let's talk about, have you got any future touring plans for Hysteria? I know you come over to like the Hellfest in France and you play the album in its entirety.
Yeah, that was the deal. We weren't going to get the gig unless we did. So
French. And are you free to do it next year as such?
we can do anything we want. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You know, I mean, we've done this by request because it was part of the deal. It's like they would have had us in Vegas for residency, but it wouldn't have been as special because we do a greatest hits set on tour. I mean, that's what you do. You play like the Rolling Stones play a greatest hits set with a doom and gloom thrown in as a new song, and they've been doing that or a variation of that since Steel Wheels, as is McCartney, as does everybody. But we can do anything we like, you know. So whenever we do tour again, and it's going to be a while, or it's going to be at least next summer, I'd imagine, whenever, because we've got a guitarist with his hand in a cast, and we've got another one recovering from cancer.
Yeah.
So at this moment in time, it's a great opportunity for us to enjoy a bit of domesticity for once. Sleep in the same bed more than 23 days like we did in Vegas, and write and record. I mean, I've got a down and out thing that I'm messing with, but we're going to write and, you know, utilise my studio as best we can to get some new stuff written because, you know, it's about time really.
Good. And you just mentioned Vivian, and just obviously the fans would like to know, how is he doing?
Well, he's about to have his 8th and final chemo this week, I believe. And then it's a case of wait and see. You know, there'll be another checkup in 6 months' time, but he already thinks after the first one that he's good. He said after 20 minutes I could just tell there was an internal feeling that was like it had gone. So yeah, with an 80% cure rate on non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, that's pretty good odds.
Obviously he's a positive thinker, and I saw him recently.
Look, he just finished.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, we did the 12 shows. You know, we did 8 European shows, we did 4 North American shows. And then he goes home, changes his shirt, and goes back out with Dio's crowd. You know, It's like the boy wants to work, and I say more power to him.
Yeah, good. Rick, Zaf, it's been great talking to you. Viva Hysteria, it's in the cinemas.
Thank you.
September 19th, and look forward to the live album and DVD package when it's out.
October,
yes.
yeah.
Fantastic, it's been great talking to you. All the best.
Nice.
Thank you.